All right, so let me open this up. Make sure you click on the link. It just makes life easier. Click make a copy. All right, so the first thing that you're going to do is review some of these websites. I feel like I got these from somewhere in the activities. But if you open it up, it's just some websites you can view. You just need to write down 5 facts. So if you only go to 5 websites, that's totally fine. But basically, it just gives you some of the information about what caused the Harlem Renaissance and all of that stuff you would have learned through the tutorial activities, but it might be helpful for some of the other stuff later on in the unit. But lots of information here. But this first section, websites related to the Harlem Renaissance, will be the most useful one for this. So you're just going to put a little bit of information, like 1 fact for each line, 5 facts total. And then 2 of the writings that you looked at were Montage of a Dream Deferred and What White Publishers Won't Print, and For a Lady I Know. So these share common themes. And then here are some images that are from the Harlem Renaissance also, which share some common themes amongst themselves and with the writing. So what you're going to do is, in the first box, you're going to say what similar themes are being presented between the writings and the art. So just kind of what you learned about the Harlem Renaissance and then what you read in the writings and what you can see in the art, how do they convey kind of the same thing? And then aside from the obvious fact that one is written and one is visual artwork, what are the differences between them? How is it different that they're able to convey different things? Like, obviously, writing, you're using words, so that's going to, be able to convey something different than just a painting can write, but just saying one is words and one is painting doesn't really get that point across. And those bullet points are just there as suggestions, but I do hope that you can write at least 5 similarities and at least 3 differences between them. And then there are just 5 questions for you to answer. So what impact did the Harlem Renaissance have on African Americans? What is the significance of this period in African American history? What did you learn about the Harlem Renaissance by viewing it from different disciplinary perspectives, both art and writing? How did learning about varied artists and poets contribute to your understanding of the time period? So you learned about all sorts of different artists and poets. I actually have an entire list right here, like Jacob Lawrence, William H. Johnson, Duke Ellington, Bessie Smith, Langston Hughes, and Countee Cullen, just to name a few. So how did it help you understand this time period by their works? How well did you do making your comparison chart? And then what are 3 other concepts that you think would help you understand? Or just, it doesn't even have to be like Harlem Renaissance, but what do you think are some subjects that go well together? Like, we know math and science are 2 cross-disciplinary subjects, so they're 2 different subjects, but they go well together. And so in this case, and very often, we're combining history and English as well as art and English. So what are some other subjects that go well together? You could also consider ways to teach specific periods within that. And then the final part, you have 3 different options to choose from. So I would like it if you would indicate which option it is that you are choosing, and then either put in your response or your link here. So if you're going to do multimedia project option 1, it's to create a virtual art exhibit. So this uses those sites from the beginning of the activity, and it has a bunch of information and links to different works by these artists and information about them. And then there's this museum exhibit checklist that you can open up as well. This just gives you an idea of what you should be including if you choose this option. So you want to include background information, some sort of backdrop that's giving that spirit of the Harlem Renaissance, and then have some sort of guide with it as well as images. So what you have to have is examples of the artist, musician, or poet's work, background information, the interesting backdrop, and then some sort of written guide to go along with the exhibit. The second option is your traditional option: write an essay, analyze a poem, and write about it. So that's your standard essay version. And then the third option is another multimedia project option, which is to create a multimedia analysis, which is where you basically, instead of writing a full-on essay, you are going to connect the art with the poetry when you're making your analysis. So you're going to try and show what you learned. You can have bullet points, paragraphs, however you want to do it, but you're going to still pick one literary element and analyze it through a visual format rather than just writing an essay. So hopefully that helps explain how to do this Unit 6 activity a little bit better, and let me know if it doesn't. Thanks.